Welcome to Swarf and Chips. On this week's show, Gio and Paul are at Ferrositi Engineering. Firstly, seeing how much impact a new 5-axis machine has had on the business, as well as Gio looking at a fascinating assembly whilst on site. Colin is at Seychelles Engineering. 2 items here. One is good and one is bad, so I'm not quite sure what to expect. Apprentice of the Week comes from ITC, the tooling supplier, and Kail Engineering. Wow, they have a seriously nice component, and that is definitely one to watch. But to kick the show off, Mark's got 2 exclusive special offers from TW Ward. So let's head over to Redditch.
Now I'm here at TW Ward in Redditch. Now these guys have had a fantastic Mac. They've got a lot of stock, I think over 60 machines in. I'm going to talk to Julian about this Hyundai Weir LV800RM, which is a turning vertical machine. So what are the benefits of this machine?
The thing is these days, Mark, a lot of people come to us and says, I want a chucking machine. And the thing is with a chucking machine is you can go larger in diameter, but of course these days, as machines become more commodity items, they get a longer bed, and a lot of people just don't need a longer bed. They either don't need the capacity that GAT offers, or they just don't have the space. So we now offer a full range of LV series machines from 300 millimeters diameter, 450, 500, and the one we're stood in front of today, the 800, and there is even a larger capacity turret type machine. As you can see, this is a turret type machine, which is the 1100.
What does the RM stand for, Julian?
R is right hand, because this is essentially a twin machine. It comes as it's seen here in a single spindle variant, but if you want 2 machines, for example, if you want to machine up 10, up 20 or whatever, you can have 2 machines side by side, and the doors and the spindles and the turrets will be located such there'll be a left hand version and a right hand version. M is milling, driven tools, and of course C-axis as well.
And who would this appeal to in the marketplace?
Again, a variety of people. Subcontractors who generally do work for perhaps the oil and gas sector, the gear industry, seals, valve discs, any kind of flatter type of workpiece. Not necessarily, not always flat, but the thing is there are restrictions because you haven't got a tailstock.
And when you talk about stock in the UK and offers at the moment, what's on offer for engineers in the UK?
A number of machines. We had a very successful Mac, as we've been talking about earlier. We have machines which were available on the stand. We have an LV450 RM, we have the LV800 and a number of other machines up in our Sheffield facility. All of the LV series, which are all available on special offers at the moment.
Great. Now, for those engineers who are looking for this type of machine, contact TW Ward ASAP. Stuart, we're at the TW Ward Redditch facility. Now, this used to be the Takasawa headquarters before TW Ward actually took over the agency and the building effectively. But you don't focus as much on Takasawa, but you want to focus on this FX600, which is a multi-axis turning centre. What sets this apart?
That's correct. We're in the Takasawa, what was the Takasawa built building. Takasawa is a brand that is very popular, or was very popular in the UK. We're coming back with it now very strongly, with stock machines of Takasawa, Taiwan and Japan. This machine, the FX600, is a twin spindle, twin turret, 6-inch chuck, sub and main, with a Y-axis on the upper turret.
And when you look at the type of customers that you sell these machines to, are they diversified into many sectors?
It's across the board, really. It's from subcontract to medical, automotive, into the tiers. So there really is no one sector. The historical installations for Takasawa, again, across the board. Bearing manufacturers for the automotive, to the medical, to the subcontract.
It's quite a competitive market for this type of machine, but what really sort of sets this above anything else in the market?
It is, but this machine, it's build quality, it's fully stainless steel interior, it's the Takasawa brand, there's no compromise on quality, on build quality, and it's a very solid, reliable, rigid machine.
And for those engineers that are looking for this type of machine, what's your message to them at the moment?
Come and see it, put it on your shortlist, certainly. We've always got machines here. We've got the bigger brother up in Sheffield, the FX800, which is an 8-inch sub and main machine. But please come and see it, put it on your shortlist. It's under power, available for demo.
So for those engineers that are looking for this type of machine, please contact wardcnc.com.
So a couple of really good deals there, Mark, but tell me about the company in itself.
Well, TW Ward are over 100 years old, and they've got other...
as old as you?
Not quite. Yeah, they represent Solaroos, Hankook, Hertford, but we focused on the Takasawa and also the Hyundai Weir just purely because the Redditch facility that you see here is pretty unknown to a lot of potential buyers. So we're going to be doing an open house there and helping them with that end of September, I think, as well.
Why would you encourage people to shop from TW Wards?
Well, like I say, they do have a big array of different products. There's not much they can put on the table of a manufacturing company in the UK and just say that, okay, we can service your needs.
And I think that's testament to the years of experience they've got. But when you look at the Hankooks, the big machines, the Solaroos, obviously they have those machines in stock as well because you've got the two facilities.
Yeah. And
this is just one. And I was actually impressed to see the size of that facility and the amount of machines they had there.
Yeah.
Having been to Sheffield as well, seeing even more machines there, they're kind of, there's probably not much that they can't supply you with a bit oil and gas, automotive, aerospace, general subcontract.
And they had such a good MAC that they've got over 60 machines coming in. So as I say, lots of machines, lots of offers, lots of deals.
Wow.
They're just two. So remember, you can see those machines on wardcnc.com and you can also see more deals from TW Ward there too.
So we've two visits today to Ferrositi Engineering, the first of which sees Paul talk to Bob O'Hara about the recent installation of a 5-axis machine tool and how much impact it's had on the business. And then when we come back, Colin will be on the sofa with me talking about seashells on the seashore. So Paul, what's this visit to Ferrositi about?
Hasn't he been to the Seychelles, or is that different?
Don't know, it's
Who
Colin,
knows?
isn't it?
Yeah, Ferrositi Engineering, a brilliant business. Actually, when you went, well, the video will come up shortly, but when we went there, they just bought a new 5-axis machine from Mazak, and it was interesting to hear the impact that it had on the company. And when I first visited the company, I thought, actually, I would have thought these guys would have had 5-axis already, but it wasn't. It was their first venture into it. So anyway, enough from me. Let's go to Ferrositi Engineering.
The name of the company, Ferrositi, was originated by my MD, Mr. Nick Furno. Started the business some 6 years ago in a simple way, but rapidly has improved. Therefore, the evolution is really about the standard of work and the scope of work that we're able to undertake. The 5-axis machine for us was very, very exciting. It has enabled an enormous amount of work to come into the company, but also we've re-engineered existing work as well. So we're finding that the machine is working 24/7 almost. We chose Mazak because of its quality and its ease of use and general practicalities. We were looking for quality items, which was in turn going to sell the business. Since we've had this Mazak, the business has changed twofold. One is new work, which we're been able to undertake, and secondly, we've re-engineered older work to give better quality and better turnaround times. Having had the 5-axis machine, we are finding that our markets have opened up, they're much wider, and we're also finding that people are wanting to use machines of a higher quality so that inspection is simpler and therefore the finished part gets to the customer quicker.
Colin, she sells seashells on the seashore.
That was easy for you to say.
Yeah.
No, we've been to Seychelles, not the Seychelles, Seychelles Engineering in Bicester, cracking day out, reviewed PSL data track. So let's watch a video.
Guys and girl, yep, that's you, Lindsay. We're with Roger Williams from Seychelles Group in Bicester. Now, you bought the business 5 years ago, and since then you've taken it from good to great by investing.
Yeah, we've invested in a lot of new machinery, being it Herco or DMG. Plus, it's not all about just the machinery. We need good systems and software to be able to run the business efficiently.
Okay, and that ties in nicely with what's over our shoulder here. Now, this is from PSL data track and part of the modules you've got.
Yes, we've invested in data track quite a lot over the last 5 years, from the initial 2 or 3 modules that we used right up to the 9 that we use now. This is the scheduling package, which effectively tells each operator what their next jobs are and makes sure they do things in the right order and gets the job to the customer when they want it.
Okay, so I won't go through all the modules, things like that, but essentially it takes you from initial quotation right through to the end and controls everything in between.
DataTrack tells us what to do when we got to do it.
Okay, and it's so good you can manage it from when you're away from the office.
Yeah, I use it a lot when I'm away from the office.
Okay, and just to clarify, when Roger says he's away from the office, you've been known to be having a cocktail while having a conversation with your team and going through the PSL reports.
It's been known.
Excellent, but a great endorsement of PSL and how it's taken your business from good to great.
It's been fantastic, does exactly what we wanted.
Brilliant. Guys, great endorsement there. Back to the studio.
So Colin, great endorsement, but why personally would you say PSL DataTrack is so good?
It's a modular system, and it just makes the whole process of in a machine shop efficient right from the start through to the beginning. You have to key in the data initially first, but once you've got that right, it makes the whole process streamlined, efficient, improves efficiency, improves profitability ultimately.
That's what you want, isn't it? So that was a great endorsement, but isn't there like a funny video or something?
But testimonial, it was great because the whole team at Seychelles were really engaged in what they're doing, but also when we went in, they helped us and everything like that, and one of the guys gave us a fantastic little endorsement.
Oh, let's have a look.
Guys, I've got some breaking news. We're at Seychelles Group Bicester, fantastic machine shop. I've walked around, done loads of reviews of certain things, Hercos, DMG, PSL DataTrack. Lindsay, guess what? You watch all our videos of Swap for Chips. Is it because of Lindsay?
No, it's not. No.
What more can I say? Why is it then?
Everybody's different. Everybody sees things in a different view. You can pick up so many different things, so many different places. You can learn new things on how people do things, learn new techniques. It's a really good watch. It's inspirational, as well as a good laugh, good views.
And I haven't even paid him for that. And Lindsay as well?
No.
Back to you guys.
That's so mean. You encouraged that.
I didn't really encourage. All right, there's a little bit of a backhand.
Is it about Lindsay? Is it about Lindsay?
I think that's fair. And can I know, we've got that on camera, Lindsay for once stuck for words.
Yeah.
Brilliant, mission accomplished.
Right, Charles, I'll get you, I will. Okay, so coming up still in the show, Paul is at Kail talking about an amazing duplex part, but how long did it take to make? Gio is back at Ferrositi looking at that impressive assembly, but for now, it's Apprentice of the Week.
Okay, so I'm here at ITC in Tamworth and Sam is our Apprentice of the Week. Sam, why did you get into manufacturing?
Well, I've always had a keen interest in engineering. My dad's also an engineer and I've done my work experience engineering and I've always wanted to do a job using my hands really.
Make things?
Yeah, have a product to show for my work.
And how long have you been on this apprenticeship?
Nearly 4 years. This is my last year now.
Yeah, and you enjoying it?
Oh yeah, very much so.
And what's your day-to-day look like? What are you doing here at ITC?
Well, my day-to-day is if someone's maybe a little bit overrun, a lot on the plate, I can fill in for them. Take a machine off the runs, and on a Friday afternoon, the rest of the lads, they all leave early. So I like to try and keep the machines running on a Friday afternoon.
And this is your last year. What does next year bring? Are you going to be a fully qualified engineer?
As long as everything goes to a coach, I think it will. I will be fully qualified, and they might look at putting me onto a HNC similar to what the apprentice before me did.
And was it a good decision all those years ago to come here and join ITC?
Definitely, I think so, because I'm going to get a qualification and then hopefully a job out of it at the end, so yeah.
And manufacturing engineering, it's good at the moment, isn't it? Everyone seems to be busy.
It's very good, yeah, very busy. Can't keep on top, as I'm sure you've seen.
Yeah. Lots of investment as well here at ITC.
Yep, new machines and potentially some more coming in this year.
Okay, well, good luck on your final year, and no doubt we'll see you again. So there we have it. Sam is this week's Apprentice of the Week for ITC in Tamworth.
So well done, Sam. Very inspirational. Look, if you too want to nominate your very own apprentice, then please contact us directly on the details you see on the screen below. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to our channel. Now, If you like looking at parts manufactured here in the UK, watch these two videos that are back to back. Gio is at Ferrositi and Paul at Kail, and I'll be challenging them both on what they learned at these two successful businesses.
Bob, we have a fantastic component assembly here. What is it?
What is it? It's a calibration rig used in the oil field industry. Calibrates their tooling effectively.
Now, what processes and applications have you had to do to manufacture this component? Obviously, there's lots of components that make the whole complete component.
Well, from the initial design, which was a collaborated design, we've manufactured, conducted all the processes right the way through to its final assembly. It is a complete build rig, effectively.
I'm looking at this and I can see fabrication, I can see profiling, I can see milling, turning, fifth axis, machining, you know, and also you mentioned the materials.
The materials have to be very special. It's a calibration rig. It has to be electrically very inert. Therefore, they do not want any interference with their components.
And how long, you know, does this take from design to manufacture?
Design to manufacture, probably about 2.5 months in total.
And is this the kind of projects that you at Ferrositi like taking on?
Very much so. It's great to be involved right from the very start, and to see the finished product is even better, obviously.
So our application feature of the week this week on Swarf and Chips comes from Kail and Company. Steve, tell us about this part that you're making here on your Matsuras.
Yeah, it's a part we were approached 2 or 3 months ago from somebody local to us and asked us if we could maybe manufacture this part for them. It was something that they were having, they needed to dual source them from us and another supplier because the other supplier couldn't cope with the demand. We took a look at the part and it's a very complex part. It's an extremely expensive component to make because it...
Well, I was going to say, let's pick it, if you could pick that up and just, we can then get the camera close to it. What sort of material is it to start with?
Yeah, it's a form of tool steel. Yeah, it's very difficult to cut, but we managed to keep it running for hours in a cycle, basically machining all that time.
And it comes out of a solid billet, doesn't it?
It comes out of a solid billet. It needs to come out of a solid billet. It can't be manufactured by welding or anything.
And why do you think other manufacturers were having a problem making it? Is it because of the material? Is it because of the amount of material removal you need to achieve and tolerances you need to maintain, maybe?
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of people around with capacity like what we've got nowadays, you know. And this type of product, when you're machining for hours, you need the right machine tool to do that.
Yeah, I mean, because you've got things like tool wear, which you've obviously got to keep an eye on. If you haven't got the rigidity, you're probably not going to be able to get the surface finishes that you've got on this as well, are you?
No, definitely. The Matsura gives us all those properties, and then this is why we're able to do parts like this, and we actually run this part almost unmanned.
So you leave here in the evening and the machine's still churning it out. I mean, it has been machining behind us. You can hardly hear the thing cutting.
Yeah, it carries on working. We finish at 4 o'clock on an evening. We have a back shift in, and they just keep an ear on the machine, make sure it's cutting well, you know.
Fan of Swarf and Chips?
Yes, definitely, yeah.
So there we have it. This is the application feature of the week this week. A cracking component made here at Kail and Company up in Sunderland.
Oh, okay, so let's start with Ferrositi before we talk about Kail. That was an impressive part. I mean, it looked really good. Why is the finish so good on it? It looks kind of pretty.
The complete component was anodised, and then the bolts and some of the parts that look kind of a bronze colour, they're an high tensile material Bob was explaining, just to be durable for its application.
But for me, all the finish and the effort that's gone into this for the oil and gas industry, I don't quite marry up how it looks so good.
You want to, when you're selling a part, you want to present it, you know, in accordance with what your customer would expect. I think the big story here is the fact that all of this has been done at Ferrositi. So it's all the processes, you know, milling, 5-axis machining, as we touched on earlier. It's one of the reasons that these guys invested in that machine, and everything else that goes with it.
Yeah, 5-axis machining, fabrication, turning, and also the sizes of the components that are in that, in that whole assembly. So very big parts to very, very small parts. It really shows off what Ferrositi can do, but not only the manufacturer of the component, they designed this component from scratch. It's
from scratch.
Yeah, it's a calibration rig for the oil and gas industry, so it's not even been proven yet. Never been, you know, it's
project management. And then there was the Kail.
Kail. Yeah, we're on to Kail now. Okay, so next up, Kail.
Well, I think the big story here is, to me, this is about one thing. It's about hard metal machining, lights out, running through the night, doing jobs that other companies don't want to do, as we saw in the part there. And how long did it take to make that part? That's obviously the challenge for you guys. Let us know how you think it would take, how long it would take to machine that whole component. Lots of operations in it. But to run unmanned, you'll know this, Gio, through the night on hard materials, you need the right machine, you need potentially sister tooling, don't you? Because you've got all those elements, and with materials like that, you don't want to experience tool breakages, surface finish issues. So it's
I mean, they've got such a stable process for such a complex component to run 24 hours lights out. You know, they've got splining operation within the centre of that bore, and they're timed to a particular feature on that. I think it might be that hole there on that component, and it really highlights not the skill levels as well.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's just one example of all the hard metal machining they're doing. They won't touch aluminium. It's all hard metal machining.
So you're talking about Ferrositi, who are there, who are managing the whole process from start to finish, and then you've got Kail Engineering, who are dealing with really, really unique materials. Overnight, real hardcore stuff going on there.
We needn't say any more.
Yeah, I think both companies, they're really highlighting what they can do and what they can offer. They're both, you know, at the top of their game.
Right. So, Gio, next week, I hear you're going to spend some time with a racy model. I hope Nicola knows about this.
Yeah, she doesn't know about this yet. No, Lindsay, you've just got me in trouble.
Sorry. So what's that all about? Give us a little bit of a temp.
Well, next week I'm skiving a little bit, so I'm going to get in trouble with Paul as well. I'm going to be driving cars and playing golf.
Oh, sounds fun. I look forward to it.